Now, about 2 days ago, the former Cabinet Secretary of Interior, Dr. Fred Okengo Matiangi, returned into the country. And on the return of Matiangi, a celebration and a humongous reception awaited him at JKIA. Now, knowing that when Matiangi came back in Kenya for the first time about a month ago, there was this narrative that Matiang'i now has joined the opposition, and he, together with Kalonzo Musyoka, Rigathi Gachagua, Martha Karua, Eugene Wamalu, and George Natembeya are going to kick off their campaign trail, and they are going now to start working together, and they are going to give us their preferred presidential candidate. Kenyans were at peace knowing that this coalition of these function and this multitude can actually have a chance of dethroning the Ruto regime come the year 2027. But after Matiang'i's return, what a lot of Kenyans expected is for him to join Rigathi Gachagua in his Mount Kenya tour, where he was for the last 2 days in Meru County, to happen. But to our surprise, Matiang'i refused to join Rigathi Gachagua and the rest of the opposition team in Meru. Now, apart from that, we have seen a function and a relationship that is being built between Rigathi Gachagua and Kalonzo Musyoka ahead of the 2027 general election, and how they have been carrying out their campaigns, which suggests that these two uh, leaders of opposition, there is no way that they are going to leave the presidential ticket to anybody else. Now let's get down to why Fred Matiang'i and Rigathi Gachagua currently are not in good terms. Fred Matiang'i, before he went back to the United States, he had joined Rigathi Gachagua at his Wamunyoro home, where Mother Karua was visiting Rigathi Gachagua. And Matiang'i spoke for the first time in the company of Mother Karua, Kalonzo Musyoka, Eugene Wamalwa, Rigathi Gachagua, and the rest. And now Kenyans started seeing the light. Kenyans started seeing the future ahead of the 2027 general election. But to our surprise, after that meeting, and after the reception that Matiang'i got, Rigathi Gachagua and Kalonzo Musyoka called a meeting together with Mother Karua and Fred Matiang'i. Now they told Matiang'i, what we are going to do from here going forward, we are not going to label anybody as the possible presidential candidate. All of us are going to campaign as a team. All of us are going to lead our people towards the opposition ahead of the 2027 general election. And when the time comes, which will be in the year 2026, we are going to declare who will be our flag bearer for the opposition in the year 2027 and who can actually take the role of the deputy presidential candidate. But when Fred Matiang'i returned this message to his boss, former President Uhuru Muigai Kenyatta advised Matiang'i by telling him, there is no way you are going to take a second place to anybody who is in the opposition function. And that is where the fallout between Matiang'i and the opposition function began. And Matiang'i started now poking his nose into Rigathi Gachagua's function, trying to steal his most trusted allies back to his back to Jubilee Party and back to his side. He started with Gathoni wa Mushomba. Apart from Gathoni wa Mushomba, Matiang'i also, to disrupt how Rigathi Gachagua was preparing his DCP party and how they were preparing to start the grassroots campaigns, they plucked one Bwana Ngojiri Wambogo from Rigathi Gachagua's team, the former Thika Town Member of Parliament, knowing that Ngojiri Wambogo was among the people that stood with Rigathi Gachagua through thick and thin. Even when Rigathi Gachagua was serving as a deputy president under William Ruto's regime, against every advice that he was given by William Ruto and the core, including Akina Farouk Kibet and Oscar Sudi, they advised him not to welcome Ngojiri into his team. But Rigathi Gachagua was not taking that. He believed that him and Wambogo had a certain goal, and their ideologies aligned, and that is why he brought him to work with him as an advisor in the office of the deputy president. And when Rigathi Gachagua was kicked out, he walked out with Ngujiri. So when Matiangi and Uhuru Muigai Kenyatta approached Wambogo, they told him that, you know what, Jubilee has been there for a very long time, and through Jubilee, Wambogo was served as a member of parliament of Thika Town. So he knows Jubilee like the back of his hand. So why don't he come back to the party? And that is when he agreed and started calling out Rigathi Gachagua. I mean, a lot of narratives came in, but one thing remained paramount, that Uhuru Muigai Kenyatta and Fred Matiangi were working behind Rigathi Gachagua to destroy the function that Rigathi Gachagua had built. And that is why, even after Matiangi's return, Matiangi is going to kickstart his campaign. And on his campaign, you are not going to see him associate himself with who? With Akina Rigathi Gachagua. Now, Rigathi Gachagua and Kalonzo Musyoka have sworn that they are going to prove to Uhuru Muigai Kenyatta that Matiangi cannot and will never become a president without the support of the endorsement of Rigiji and Kalonzo Musyoka. And in terms of experience and in terms of political portfolio, Matiangi has built his political portfolio on the track record which he served as a cabinet secretary of interior. On the other hand, Rigathi Gachagua is not viable for any elective position due to the impeachment case. Kalonzo Musyoka served as a vice president of the Republic of Kenya. So in the whole team, the man that has the highest scorecard of becoming a presidential candidate is Kalonzo Musyoka, because his people loves him. Kenya, before Rigathi Gachagua was impeached and before all these other rising individuals started seeking the presidential seat, Kalonzo Musyoka had made it clear that he is not going to join the government and he is going to vie for the presidential seat in the year 2027. So Gachagua believes that Kalonzo Musyoka is the right person. But other people within the coalition believes that Matiang'i has a chance. Now, it's a matter of dynamics. It's a matter of reception. Kalonzo and Gachagua have proved that, they can kickstart their campaign trail and they will go ahead, to shake the whole country as the opposition function come the year 2027. Matiang'i only did an homecoming tour in Kisii and Nyamira, and that is his home turf. Kalonzo and Gachagua visited Mombasa on the coastal region at large, and the reception that they got proved to the people that they have a chance. On the other side, as of today, they visited Meru County, and there also the reception was humongous, proving that these people have a chance of dethroning William Ruto come the year 2027. So Matiang'i has to prove beyond reasonable doubt that he has numbers and influence compared to that of Gachagua and Kalonzo Musyoka if he wants them to endorse him for the presidential ticket come the year 2027. Don't forget, on the other hand, there is another man, George Natembeya, who through his Tawe movement has gripped the western region part of Kenya. So the dynamics and the politics that are going to play out in the next few months are going to determine how the opposition is going to work together or work divided. And if they work divided, I tell you that is what Ruto is counting on. Matiang'i is not ready to take a DP position. Gachagua is not ready to take, Kalonzo Musyoka is not ready to take a DP position. I mean, the only person that people are claiming he can be a good deputy president or a running mate for the opposition come the year 2027 is Trans Nzoia Governor George Natembeya. But is Natembeya ready to forego his ambitions for the presidency to run, to become anybody's running mate come the year 2027? It's a matter, it's just a matter of wait and see. We are here to keep you updated. But I tell you, the opposition has been disrupted by Uhuru's orders to Matiangi. Don't accept to stand second to nobody. And that is why you have been seeing one Jeremiah Kioni and the Jubilee Party continuing to transverse the country against all horns, and they are pointing fingers at Rigathi Gachagua, saying that he is the reason that Jubilee Party fell. What is your take? Leave a comment on the comment section. See you in our next video. Remember to subscribe. This is the Kenyan Daily Report.